Hey guys, it's finally here. It is the Brassydoots first Q&A on the channel. So this is where you'll get a good chance to get to know me, and it'll be a good chance for me to answer some of your questions and finally hopefully clear up any of those questions that you had for me over the what's it been? It's been almost a year since I started on YouTube. So I've been excited to do this. I've gotten a whole bunch of questions from you guys, and I'm ready to answer them. But before we get into that, I just want to say, because this is Q&A, it's a chance to get to know me. I just want to say a little bit about myself, just right off the bat. I am a very genuine person. So everything I'm doing here on YouTube and everything I do really in my life is because I care. And like so what I'm saying with that is the stuff I do on YouTube, I do it because I love making people laugh. Like, that's been my favorite thing to do since I was like a kid, really. Was just, like, I'd have my own problems and my own issues that I was working through growing up. Still do, everyone does. But I really, for some reason, just making other people laugh and making them smile and, hearing them be like, oh my God, like, you're hilarious. Like just being able to make people happy and laugh it's like what I strive to do every day. Hence why I put out content every other day. And the days that I'm not putting out content, I try to, play games with friends or whatever it is, just to make someone laugh, just to make someone happy, try to make someone's day better. So that's kind of who I am and what I strive for. And for some people, they can't stand that much like positivity, but like when there's a lot of negativity going on, adding to that negativity doesn't really help anything. So I try to promote an idea of just going into each day and, if you're in a bad mood, if you have things going on, that's your own problem. Don't put that on other people constantly, seek help when you need it, but understand that you don't need to put all your problems on everyone else. You can deal with those problems. And again, get help when you need it, but also you don't have to like ruin someone else's day by putting all your problems on them, like they probably, like, especially if they don't even offer like to help. If they ask, hey, how's your day going? And you just rattle off all these problems, like it's, you don't really need to do that. That's, instead I choose to, in that case, do something to make them laugh, say something to make them laugh, try to just brighten people's moods and try to make just a positive impact on as many people as I can on a daily basis. So I think that's all I really wanted to say to preface the Q&A, because I have lots of questions to get through and I don't want to leave too many out. So without further ado, I appreciate you guys listening to that. I hope you guys appreciate the kind of person I am and the things that I strive for in my life. And I hope you keep enjoying the content that comes out. So for the first question, I have from my buddy Michael Somerville, a comment on YouTube. That's my buddy Mike. And he asked me a couple questions here. The first one, he asked me, Mary fuck kill Serena, Cortana, or Isabel. He's referencing the AIs from the Halo series. So I actually thought about this a little bit beforehand. Mary would easily be Serena because she's like the most level-headed out of all of them. She's just chill, level-headed. I'd probably kill Cortana because she's nuts, and then Isabel's there. So yeah, she's the last one. I don't really have an opinion on Isabel. Also, they're all computers, so none of it really would matter. So that's that. He also said, in the same question, he asked me my favorite console, my top 5 favorite games, and if I could have any one game released tomorrow, which game would it be? So I'm kind of clumping all these ones together because they kind of go a little bit hand in hand. So I'm going to start with, if you could have any one game released tomorrow, which game would it be? Assuming that this is like any game that I can imagine, it would be probably a Pokemon game that has every single region in it, open world, just like, and that you can interact with other people as well. So other players can also be in the game. It's just a giant open world, like every region is there. but there's also you know like there's also the single player aspect of like you're going around getting all the gym badges. I don't know, just a game like that. I think a lot of people have had a similar idea, so it's not like an original idea, but that would be awesome. That or like a Final Fantasy VIII HD remake would be pretty sweet. Favorite console, you know, right now my favorite console is obviously Xbox. That's pretty much all I play, but all time the Game Boy SP, like hands down, Game Boy SP was my favorite. I played the crap out of my Game Boy SP. I still have it. The backlight has dimmed a little bit since I was 8, but love the Game Boy SP, love the Nintendo DS too, but the Game Boy SP was just more nostalgic for me. So and kind of runner up to that is the GameCube, because it was all kind of when growing up, that's what I played the most, was like GameCube, Game Boy SP, and like the PlayStation 2. But like a lot of my best memories were on my handhelds, because I was able to, as I moved around throughout my life to different houses, which I did pretty frequently, having a handheld, you know, going with me wherever I went, wherever I moved to, throughout every like issue, just being able to kind of zone out and stop kind of dealing with those problems for a minute and just being able to sit down and play a game on my Game Boy, that was really really helpful growing up and going through all those moves and whatnot. So definitely Game Boy SP. And then top 5 favorite games of all time. I kind of go back and forth on these because there's so many good games out there. So I won't include more than one from one franchise. So I will, I'll say, let's say, I don't really have a specific order, but I'd probably put, it would be Pokemon Heart Gold. That is a fantastic game. In my opinion, the best Pokemon game that's come out of all time. Pokemon Heart Gold is an amazing game. That Halo 2 is one of my all-time favorites. I love Halo 2. It is just a phenomenal game. The campaign is amazing. The multiplayer was really fun. That battle rifle hit scan was amazing. Halo 2 was truly a great game. The other 3 are a bit tougher for me because there's a lot of other games I really liked. But it'd probably have to be like the last 3 would probably have to be Super Smash Bros. Melee, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and Final Fantasy VIII. Those would be that would round out my top 5. Again, I don't have like a specific order for those because they all have different like meanings to me. And I know there's probably a couple that I'm forgetting that I absolutely adored, but those are kind of the top 5 that I can think of at this moment. But if you have other top 5s, absolutely leave them in the comments. Let me know. I would love to have a discussion about that. Because I love hearing other people's like favorite games and the reasons why. So feel free to discuss that with me. But that wraps up Michael's questions. So the next question I have is from Mary Beth Smith on YouTube. I play with, well, let's see. So Mary Beth's question is, who is your favorite person to play video games with? She also said, I love your videos. Keep posting. So Mary Beth, I appreciate that a lot. I love that you enjoy what I make. And your question, I know that you want me to answer that you are my favorite person to play games with. And what I'm going to say is I don't have one favorite person to play games with, because each different game pretty much that I play, I have a favorite person to play with, like for that game. So throughout the years, my best friend, his name's Noah. Growing up, we played a lot of games together. We played we played RuneScape, we played Halo 2, Halo 3, we played Call of Duty when we were younger too. We played all sorts of games together, and we always found back in the Xbox 360 days where there was like the indie games and arcade games, we'd find really cheap ones. We didn't have any money and we're kids, but every now and then we have like a couple bucks, and we'd just like buy a cheap little indie game and mess around with it. And so those were some of my favorite memories, being able to switch from like AAA titles to just playing, you know, these like garbage games that are funny and we can just make fun of or whatever. So like historically, it's really like playing games with him, and then my older brother Cameron. We would, growing up, I played a lot of Halo Reach with Cameron. We still play a lot of Madden together. We played a lot of Destiny together. The Destiny 1 raids with him and our group of friends was a lot of fun. So it's all kind of based on the game. Like Fortnite, I love playing with you, Mary Beth. I love playing with Mike. I play with a couple of other guys, Paul, Nick, Pat. God, who else do we play with? Tim's great to play with. I mean, it's the whole group of people that we play with is a whole lot of fun. So it's really not like one person, but a multitude of people over the years that have really made gaming an enjoyable experience. So if I had to say one, it would probably be Noah historically. But again, it's a lot of other people. So I'll leave it at that. Next question I have is from good old Gabe here. He started off by saying your videos suck in reference to me saying somebody is going to tell me my videos suck from the announcement video for this. So Gabe, I love you. Appreciate you. So his question was, what is your stance on people having YouTube as a job instead of getting a real job with coworkers and a social life? Do you think that I can just keep coming up with questions in a head this empty? Gabe, unfortunately, your head is pretty empty, so I don't know how many more questions you could come up with. But for your actual question here, I think that it's a similar thing to really any sort of art field where like when you're like a freelance artist or animator, it's a lot of just kind of you're on your own, doing your own work the way that you want to do it. So I see people on YouTube having a job as, they're doing what they want to do and they're kind of living their dream. And while it promotes a kind of different cultural aspect of what a job really is, I think we already have some of this kind of gray area of a true job with like sports, like it's entertainment. It's YouTube fits into this entertainment category in the world where people are getting paid a lot of money sometimes, especially on YouTube. There's a lot of people that are getting paid a lot of money to entertain, just like sports athletes. You're seeing sports athletes get signed to these huge contracts, they're making $20-30 million a year. And some of these guys aren't even the best players, like at their position, in their sport, so people, they're playing a game, they're entertainment. And so I guess to put it simply, people on YouTube that can make it a job fit into the entertainment category of society, and they're getting paid as entertainers. And a lot of these people, their coworkers and social life revolve around the people that they collaborate with, the people that they connect with. And a lot of people, the bigger channels, do live shows to kind of make their social life a little bit more inclusive of other people. And, a lot of their social life is also done on social media, where take that as you will as far as a true social life, but you can certainly socialize with people over the internet and make friends over the internet. It's not the same dynamic as meeting them face to face and getting to know them face to face, but you are still having a sort of social life. You're not just cooped up by yourself, never talking to anyone. If you are a popular YouTuber, you are probably talking to a lot of people all the time. So that's kind of where I stand with that. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's something that everyone should do, because not everybody is made for entertainment, and that's not saying that I am too. Like I have less than 50 subscribers, so clearly I'm not like this like prodigy of entertainment or anything, but like there are some people that like they have like fright when they get in front of a microphone and they don't even know what to say. So if that's the case, it might be hard to be like an entertainer on YouTube, but there's other things you can do on YouTube. So I'm going to kind of cut the question there. I think I've explained it enough. It's not a terrible thing. I think a lot of people can live their dreams with it, but there's also some drawbacks to it as well. And then the last question from YouTube, I have some other questions that I've received from through Discord and whatnot. This is from Tech Agent, my buddy Ian. he's in my family, so it's not just my buddy. He's a wonderful human being, the tech agent. His question was, why haven't you used your trumpet in any of your videos? So that was that was an idea I had, was to have my trumpet around, so that way anytime I was, doing like a live stream or made like a shitty pun, I could just like, laugh about it and then pull out the trumpet, do a little like doodly doot on there, because doots. And I haven't really acted on that because it's just I don't know. I just don't really. It's not something I'm really doing right now. Not really something I want to do right now with how my setup is. It's just I just don't even have room. My setup is kind of jam packed in a corner of my room right now. So it's adding more stuff to that. Especially I haven't touched my trumpet in almost a year now. So it's I don't even want to embarrass myself. But it's something that you might see eventually in a video, or a live stream. You might hear me pull out the trumpet and play a little doodly doot for you. So some other questions I got through Discord. I got some good questions from my buddy Nathan. He sent me a couple here. I'm not going to read all of them because he sent me like 12, and I'm not going to do 12 of his questions because this video is already like probably 15 minutes long at this point. So, but I'm going to do a couple. So the first one I'm going to say, he asked how I came up with the username Brassydoots. Now, this is the most common question that I get from people, because they don't know where it came from, and rightfully so. There's not some huge story behind it. So sorry if that's super disappointing, but really this is where it happened. So October 2016 was when Ian, the tech agent, and I were really starting to record more. We were recording for his channel primarily. I didn't have stuff ready for YouTube at the time, but we were recording for his channel, and I realized, well, if he starts putting out this stuff, I don't really want to include a lot of just like my personal information as who I am on the internet. So I came up with, I wanted to come up with a name to go by, like an internet alias. So that way I wouldn't have to just make my personal life my alias. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I asked, don't ask me things about like super personal details, because that's not, I don't really want to put all those out there right now. So what happened was I was trying to come up with something, and I was, this is kind of what happened. I really liked Pop-Tarts growing up, and I was trying to come up with a username that had to do with Pop-Tarts. And I realized, if somehow I ever became popular, there would probably be an issue where, like, if my thing is Pop-Tarts and I'm using like that name and getting money for that name, there's probably going to be an issue with the actual company of Pop-Tarts. So probably shouldn't do anything with that. And so I couldn't really come up with anything else for a while. I was just sitting there at Ian's house. But I came up with the idea of Brassydoots. Just that name just popped up in my head as I was just trying to brainstorm things. And that one kind of stuck with me a little bit more. And it didn't really matter if I thought of other names. I kept coming back to that one. So really, it just came down to all these other ones aren't as catchy. They're not as me, like Brassydoots. I'm a trumpet player and I love music, but also like the name itself, like instead of Brassy Notes or Brassy Figaros or whatever, like. It's just Doots because I'm a silly guy, and it's just like, I don't know. So I just combined Brassy and Doots, and it stuck, and I thought it was catchy, and I thought that of all the names I came up with, it exemplified me the most. So from there, that's how I've gone by on the internet, and that's what I will continue going by. So that's really the backstory for that. Not much else to it. I'm sorry there's not like some, I saved this man's life and his name was Brassydoots. Like, sorry. I don't have anything like that. So then the next question I wanted to answer from Nathan was he asked, what sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? So I immediately thought basketball because this is why, because this is the least, I feel like one of the least dangerous sports that would have like a mandatory amount of alcohol consumed by the athletes, you know, because there's not guys in huge pads coming to, you know, destroy you or anything. Like, it's just a bunch of like, just imagine like 10 drunk, like top of the world athletes running around and trying to play basketball, and they're just like flopping around, which, I mean, they already do a lot anyways in the NBA, but like just like drunkenly flopping around, and just, I think that would be hilarious. Just, you know, they're trying to put on moves, especially if the announcers are drunk too. Oh my God, that I feel like that would be hilarious personally. So that's my answer for that one. Nathan also asked, what movie would be greatly improved if it was made into a musical? Easily Transformers, the ones by Michael Bay, which weren't terrible movies, but making them a musical would be hilarious, because you'd hear Optimus and you'd just be like, Megatron, you are a bitch, I'm going to kill you today. And then Megatron's like, Optimus. I don't know. I feel like that would be hilarious if you made Transformers into a musical, especially like a trilogy of them. God, and then like these Marines are coming in and they're singing a whole song. Oh God, that'd be so funny. Because then every time a song ends, you know, someone gets like exploded or whatever, and it's all serious again. But oh man, I feel like that would be hilarious. But those are the ones I wanted to address from Nathan. Thank you for the questions, Nathan. I thought those were hilarious. The next question, I have two from my good old pal Nick from Breaking the Clutch. So the first one he sent me was, well, it wasn't much of a question, but as much as it was, he was saying to pick two game franchises that you'd like to see have a crossover game. And I actually had to think about this one a little bit, because some games that I really like, if they crossed over, it'd just kind of be a similar game. So I actually struggled with this one a little bit. It would have to be, for me, I guess, like, I don't know. I always thought an interesting one would be if you had the Gears of War and Halo universe combine into one. You know, that I feel like that would kind of be interesting, because you'd have, you know, you're fighting the Covenant, you know, there's this whole Covenant and, you know, Brute issue and whatnot, and then you also have, you know, the like all the Gears of War guys as well. I forget what they're called. Is it the no, it's not the Hive, that's Destiny. Gears of War was the Locust. If you had the Locust as well, also as this issue on Earth, and then, you know, it meets up to where, like, you know, Dom and Adam, is it Adam Phoenix? I think it's Adam Phoenix is the main. I haven't played Gears of War in a while, I'm sorry. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that'd be like so cool. Like, you have like this like domestic threat that you're also trying to deal with, and then there's like the Covenant, and I don't know, I feel like that'd be kind of like a cool crossover game, I guess. Yeah, again, like, you know, I'm sure someone's like, well, that'd be stupid, it's just a shooter with more character, blah blah blah, but like, it's a crossover game, so of course there'd probably be some issues. But like, the only other one I guess I could think of was, you know, growing up, I wanted to have like Super Smash Brothers, but with like Dragon Ball Z characters, which kind of already exists to an extent. There was a game that was made, but it only had like, I think, one Dragon Ball Z character. I think it just had Goku in it. But I thought like a full-fledged like Smash Brothers, but like with the amount of detail and polish that Smash Brothers characters get, but instead of Smash Brothers characters, they're, you know, Dragon Ball Z. But also, maybe, I don't know, I think it'd be cool maybe to have those all the, you know, important Smash characters in there as well. You know, like Mario, Link, Pikachu. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. You can say what you want, but I feel like that'd be kind of a cool idea. That'd be fun. Okay, it'd be an interesting concept. Okay, like, don't judge me. It's a hard question. Okay, but that's kind of where I am with that. And I could probably think of a couple more, but I don't want to spend forever on this question. But Nick, I appreciate that that question. It's a great question. And then your other question, which is another great question. You asked, is there a content creator that inspired you to create Let's Plays? Absolutely. Growing up, I didn't, Let's Plays weren't huge in like the mid 2000s yet. Like it wasn't really a thing because that was when YouTube kind of began. And then I started watching more YouTube closer to 2009, 2010, which Let's Plays still weren't like huge at that time. So really the first Let's Players I started watching were Achievement Hunter, and I was actually watching Tobuscus way back in the day. Now, these guys didn't really inspire me to make Let's Plays, but they introduced me to what Let's Plays were. And that's where the idea of it came into my mind. But when I saw the amount of content that like Tobuscus was putting out, I was like, oh my God, that would be crazy. And when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so funny. And now I'm like, I don't think he's very funny anymore. but like Achievement Hunter has stayed consistently hilarious for years and years now. And they have been kind of on the top of the, like if you put making Let's Plays into a job, like they are kind of the pinnacle of that, but when I saw their content, I'm like, there's so much editing and so much that goes into that I would never be able to do that as one person. So who really inspired me was truly Game Grumps, because I started watching Game Grumps in 2000. I started watching in 2012, but I didn't watch him very much until like almost 2013, I guess. It was somewhere in that ballpark. That was when I was introduced to him just by, I kept seeing their videos come up. It was recommended for me. And I'd been watching Aaron Ego Raptor. I'd been watching his animations for like ever already. So I was like, man, he's a funny guy. Like I bet you these are pretty funny. And so I watched they did a Mario Party 2 series. Him and back when John was still on the show, Aaron and John played through Mario Party 2, and the way that they ended every episode just so abruptly and something funny was happening, and it always got me every single episode. And I just binge watched like 7 straight episodes and was like, man, these guys are really funny. Like, this is so funny. And I've been watching Game Rooms like religiously since then, because they are so funny. And it's just like, it's all like improv. They just come up with like little bits as they're improving that they just kind of roll with. And it just becomes this huge like canon of Game Grumps jokes, And so watching them and realizing, they're sitting down on a couch, they're talking into microphones, and they're playing video games, and there's not a lot of editing past that. I was like, I can do that. I got older, and I'm like, that would be really fun. I want to try that. And so I started making them with Ian, but a lot of technical difficulties came up with like the footage that we recorded of our first like series. And so who knows if that's ever going to come out, but as far as my Let's Plays go, I was making the stuff with Ian, and I was looking at the setup, and I talked to him about, hey, what kind of stuff do I need like to make these Let's Plays or whatever. And once I realized what I needed, I'm like, man, I can do that. I can get that stuff. I got my tax return the summer of, when did I start making videos? 2017. And so I got a Blue Yeti microphone. I got a classic, like this little Elgato thing that can capture RCA cable inputs. And that's where my first video, that Super Smash Brothers video, that's still on my channel, that's where that came from. I sat down, beginning of spring break of 2017, and then I sat down and recorded that video. I didn't have splitters, so I had to record it directly to the computer. That's why there was no game audio, because I didn't have splitters. So I didn't actually record from my TV screen. I actually set up my laptop, and there was like a little, maybe 3-inch by 3-inch screen that showed the recording. And I was playing Smash Brothers on that screen inside the screen on my laptop. And that's how I recorded my first video. I put that on my office chair. I sat down in the corner of my bed, and I just like smushed my face up towards the screen to play. And that's how that video was recorded. So that's kind of the history there of where that all started. But yeah, definitely like Achievement Hunter and Game Grumps were really the huge ones for me and the huge like inspirations. Because I just they make so many people laugh and so many people happy. And again, that's like who I am and what I strive to do. So, that's where that inspiration came from. And then to finish things off with questions, I just have a couple more, from Mike's, lovely girlfriend, Paulina. She asked me a few, that are actually pretty quick. So I'll kind of just fly through some of these here. The first one is, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Which is pretty easily the cookie dough flavor. It's amazing, the cookie dough bites in vanilla ice cream, especially when it's like peanut butter cookie dough. Oh, it's so good. It's amazing. Easily my favorite. Number 2, if you could keep a Pokemon as a pet, which one would it be? I've been asked this a couple of times as well. That is easily Alakazam, because he's not actually that big. And also he can teleport me anywhere I need to do. He's super smart. He could do my homework. Like, Alakazam could literally do anything I needed him to do. And he could teleport me. If I wanted to go to Fiji, I'm like, Alakazam, let's go to Fiji. Boom. You know, we'll rest up at the Pokemon Center there and we can teleport there. Done. So Alakazam, easily. Number 3, if I had to eat one fruit for the rest of my life, what would it be? Definitely mango. Love mango. It's delicious. Mango smoothies are like my favorite things to drink when I'm feeling like ingesting boatloads of sugar. So mango smoothies are the best. Mango would be the fruit. Number 4, do you fuck bitches and get money? No. Number 5, what's your favorite Jolly Rancher flavor? Ooh, that's a tough one. I always like the blue one. I think it's a blue raspberry. Blue one was always like top notch, and it made my tongue blue. So I was like, all right, I get a blue tongue, so I'm like from Avatar, and also it's delicious. So easily the blue raspberry one. And I think that about does it for questions. I don't think I received any other ones. I'm sorry if I missed your question. But I hope I answered all your questions. I appreciate all the questions that were sent in. This has honestly been a blast to make. I know it's kind of long, but if any of you made it this far, I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching this far. It has really been an amazing experience over almost this first entire year here of making videos. Just being able to see the reactions of people, just, you know, every now and then I'll get a comment from someone being like, wow, I just discovered your channel. Like, this was great. You did a great job with this. I'm going to watch more. And then they go watch more and they're like, hey, this one's really good too. Like, seeing that and like seeing someone like genuinely like, wow, this is really cool. Like, that is such an awesome experience and such like a heartwarming, just like amazing thing to experience. And that's really what I do it for. The views are its own thing. You know, every content creator looks at views, but what I look for the most is the interaction. If a video gets 3 views but gets like 3 people that are all like, this was awesome, this part made me laugh, or I was driving to work and I heard this part at the end and it made me laugh and I almost crashed my car. You know, something like that. That's all funny. That all makes me laugh, and it's hilarious. I mean, if you almost crash your car, it's not hilarious. But if I made you laugh so hard you almost like peed your pants or something, that's hilarious. But like, that's what I go for. If a video gets 50 views and nobody says a word about it, it's like, okay, so 50 people watched, but there wasn't really, nobody said anything. Like, I didn't even get like any message or anything from anyone. It's just 50 people watched it, and that's that. You know, it's much more rewarding to get those heartwarming reactions of like, man, this was so funny, like, thank you for making this. Those are the kinds of things I strive for. So if there's anything else you want to know, any questions that I missed or anything, go ahead, let me know. Send me a message on Twitter, comment it on this video. I'll be checking the comments. Anything. I mean, just not, you know, obviously, again, I'm not going to answer political or, you know, personal information and whatnot. But if you have other questions, you want my other opinions on favorite cereal or so, I don't care. Comment it, let me know, and I'll chat with you guys. So thank you for watching. Again, I'm sorry that it went on kind of long, but I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.